Yeah, we find her, that beautiful girl we've been missing. We wanna have her kissing. We find her, now we in love. Say go so, the remix.
DMB, Tux Bites, remix.
Now if I had to lose you like a bad phone connection, I'd change my game to get a better reception. Sit back, let's start this interaction. Don't fight the feelings, just a chain reaction. Your heart won't give you the wrong instructions. Like my GPS, yes I got the right direction. We gotta merge together like a road intersection. Last stop is gonna be my love and affection. I ain't like the mother dudes, they wanna call you shorty, but I'ma call you a beautiful girl. I took your picture home, my mama saw it, she's a very, very beautiful girl. I wanna put you in my video, cause you're so beautiful. You're a beautiful girl. So when you hear us in your radio, turn up your stereo. It's beautiful girl.
Gotta find a shorty, what's worth of a lady. It's nice but maybe doesn't look like 40. It's taking a little time. I wasn't seeing no signs, any traces of my baby. Who's gonna be my baby? Well, I thought I'm gonna take my time. Within it took a long fine eye. I saw a shorty passing by. She's got this very pretty smile. It was right at the bus station. I tried to make a conversation, holding her arms, feeling so charmed. I felt the sensation. It's been a while that I've been trying to find a beautiful girl. Now I realize I found me a beautiful girl. She's a model, she's so fine. I just wanna take it by. Beautiful girl, sparkling eyes are killing tight. I found me a beautiful girl.
Body me LP, oh yeah,
My wish came true when I saw you, girl. God must have blessed me with your beauty, girl. Looking so right from your head to your toe, shaped like a Coke bottle with a smile of a queen. My queen to be, you my destiny. Got a body of a goddess with your beauty. I'm impressed and I'm never in distress. Come on over and be mine. Been searching for a man and now all the cats keep looking to mine. With a sexy walk and a sexy talk, she must be from a planet called the sexy world. I know I ain't tripping, better yet I'm thinking put a ring on the finger, we look good together. Take your place in my heart with your beauty. I'ma say that I'll never turn away. Who would think I'm in love?
Such the way she smiles at me just really makes me weak. The way she speaks to me just really make me go so weak. Keep staring in her eyebrows. All I kept on saying is wow. Your beauty shines and breeze at night. All I really want in my life. Oh yeah. It's been a while that I've been trying to find a beautiful girl. Fine, brown eyes. I found me a beautiful girl. She's my model, she's so fine. I just wanna take it. Beautiful girl, sparkling eyes, killing tight. I found me a beautiful girl. Yeah, beautiful girl. One beautiful girl, yeah. Beautiful girl.
Damn. Money. You seen her? Hot Ice. Have you seen her? LP. Have you seen her? I'ma go over to Tux Bites. I know you've probably seen her. He has a lot of beautiful girls with him. Tux, it's DMB, baby. Look,
Beautiful.
I look for a while, but I can't seem to find a beautiful girl so I can make her mine. Time after time I've been searching for a while, but every girl I meet never seems worthwhile. What can I do? I pray to God for an answer. I feel pains in my heart like cancer, and when I find her, I'm gonna romance her. Lace of her presents and gifts, call me Santa. Claus, I make a heartbeat pause. That's my girl, homeboy, not yours. The girl of my dreams, she's more than I ever thought. Show me Aston Kutcher, I think I'm getting punked. She's what I really want, so I'ma go get her. Since I'm a go getter, you know I'm gon' get her. And I will give her the world, anything for my beautiful girl.
Psych. Ooh, it's been a while that I've been trying to find a beautiful girl. Fine, brown eyes. I found me a beautiful girl. She's my model, she's so fine. I just wanna take it. Beautiful girl, sparkling eyes, killing
touching and kissing. Make love on the floor, the couch in the kitchen. One love enough, we done enough.
Man of prestige. Ha! Now this guy win. Now you win. Now you win today. Now you win. Now you win. I agree. Man of prestige. Now man you be.
I'm sure some people will be jealous now the way I talk about Ola. But I have learned a lot from him. That's why I keep telling you to follow him. If you don't follow Man of Prestige, now you know.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Welcome back to Man of Prestige. I hope you're doing well. Welcome. This is August 3rd. It's a Saturday. So today we're going to get into some stuff, some stories for the God, if you will. But welcome back. Do me a favor, hit the like button, share, subscribe. Turn up your notifications so you're notified when we go live. Welcome. What we do here is we extract life and relationship lessons from trendy topics, and we tackle them from a self-power, social, seduction, attraction, emotional intelligence standpoint. Hit the like button as you're coming in. You can download the book for free. Books for free. There's one book called Get My Married Back. It's basically our story, my wife and I. But we also wrote this second book recently, Number One Red Flag. You can download them for free at Man of Prestige. If you prefer Amazon, Audible.com, your favorite online stores, you can also find them through that same link, manofprestige.com. And shout out to my sponsors, Mo Fresh, Life with Natu, Adesuwa, Film Girl, Open Floor by Tima, Grace Corner, Dealer of 3000, Yes TV, Chidima, Sparkleberry, Mary Parker. Welcome. And shout out to everybody that continue to sponsor the show. You can sponsor this one show for as low as 99 cents. Our monthly goal this month is $449. We are now up to $9.44. And like I said, you can sponsor the show for as low as 99 cents. It goes a long way. If you prefer Zelle, Cash App, Super Chat is obviously open. You can see the box on the screen. But Zelle, Cash App, all that kind of stuff. PayPal, ask at manofprestige.com. Cash App is $ Man of Prestige. Do me a favor, hit the like button, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications so you're notified when we go live. If you're interested in life, relationship, marriage coaching, you can reach us by email at ask@manofprestige.com or by text message +1732 305 8577. WhatsApp preferably. All right. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you. Welcome. Shout out to Babes Wind. Welcome, Babes Wind. Good evening to you. Welcome. And good evening to all the quiet ones in the back. Thank you. Thanks for being here. All right. So we do have a couple of stories I want us to cover today. My husband doesn't see me. This is a very, very common issue. Okay. I've got a ton of clients that this is where they started. Okay. My husband doesn't see me. So today we're going to highlight a few of those stories. And we've removed the names and stuff like that, but let's just talk. Okay, let's just talk. If you have anything you want to add onto it, the chats are open. The comment areas are open. We're not going to spend long here today. I just wanted to highlight this very important topic because a lot of people are going through this as we speak, and then hopefully you'll get one or two or just a little bit of value out of this session today. All right, without any further ado, let's go ahead and get started. I'll be right back. We offer evidence-based relationship and marriage resources and coaching to help you navigate the difficult times.
Don't just wing it. Learn the principles that work.
Download our 2 free books and book your complimentary coaching session now at manofprestige.com. So ladies, real quick, what does it mean when a woman says, my husband doesn't see me? Gentlemen, too, if you can chime in, if you're privileged enough to know what this means. I don't think most men know what it means. They might have heard it, but they didn't know what it meant. If anything, most men, the first time they hear this, they're confused. I don't see you. What do you mean I don't see you? What do you mean? I can see you. My husband doesn't see me. So, first attempt that you heard that, probably first time you heard that as a man, you probably did exactly what she's accusing you of, which you dismissed it. Like, and she probably couldn't tell you that you're doing it too. So, so there's confusion everywhere. But I think it's more or less, for the most part, a feeling. And feelings are valid. Feelings are important. Feelings are everything. Feelings will destroy your marriage if you don't acknowledge them. It is what it is. All right. So the first story that I want us to dig in through today, I'm just going to go ahead and talk about this particular lady who sent this email. Let's see. It says, back in Lagos, Nigeria, I was a bright young woman with dreams of starting my own business. Okay. I married my husband, who promised to support my ambitions. But as the years passed, I felt like I had become invisible to my own home. In my own home. My husband barely acknowledged me, too absorbed in his work and social life. I felt like a ghost, my dreams forgotten, and my voice unheard. The emotional neglect was suffocating, leaving me feeling worthless and lonely. That's a lot. Okay, now, I spent hours cooking my husband's favorite meal, hoping for a romantic dinner. He barely looked up from his phone. All right, so this phone thing is becoming a big issue in many households. Not just the phone, but the apps on the phone. Think YouTube, TikTok, right? Not so much Twitter, Facebook. All right. He barely looked up from his phone, muttering a quick thanks before diving back into work. I felt like effort meant nothing. I tried to talk to my husband about my loneliness and desire to start my business. He shrugged and told me I was overreacting, making me feel like my feelings didn't matter. On our anniversary, I planned a special evening, but my husband stayed late at the office. When he finally came home, he went straight to bed, leaving me heartbroken and alone. I suggest we go out for a weekend getaway to reconnect. He brushed off the idea, saying he was too busy, making me feel like I wasn't worth his time. I tried to engage my husband in a conversation about my day. He nodded absent-mindedly, not really listening, which made me feel unimportant and taken for granted. I tried to rekindle the spark by planning romantic dinners and dressing up, but my husband remained indifferent. I used to believe that if I just tried harder, he would notice me. I felt like I was running from the painful realization that maybe, just maybe, he never truly saw me at all. Okay, we're back to the see me stuff. The see me stuff. Honestly, I'll be very honest with you. Okay, till today, I just happen to know better, right? And I've kind of like mastered some of this stuff, right? But if I go by how I feel as a man, my natural instinct is still okay, I don't see you. I do see you. That's my natural, right? But anyway, that's the first story right there. I want us to do me a favor. Let's ping everybody else into the room. Hit the like button, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications so you can be notified when we go live. Okay, I want us to talk about this for as long as you guys are willing to talk about it, But I have a few tips off my sleeves, I have a few things I want to address as well, from as many perspectives as I can see. Okay. The first perspective that I tend to be able to see, obviously, is the person who is complaining. That's how I can see. It could also be, that's natural for men most times too, which is why men are naturally inclined to solve the problem. Once you complain to them, they usually can see how far, like, okay, why don't you just do this? Why don't you just do that? Like they want to give you an answer right away, right? But unfortunately for a lady, a typical lady, that's not how it works. And that's creating a lot of confusion in marriages, in relationships, everywhere. All right. Now, before I move forward, let me just tell you, tomorrow I do have a special guest. As you can see, tomorrow we're going to be talking about man, they suffer. Men also suffer. Okay. So we're going to be talking about that tomorrow. I have a special guest here, so make sure you don't miss it. So I will have a man here who has some experience with regards to some of the plight of men with respect to how women feel. He's married, so he can speak to a lot of this, but he also was in the game for a little bit before he got married. So that's something that we're going to be talking about tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So you don't want to miss that. Okay. Now, with that being said, let's get back to today's conversation. Invisible, can't see, won't see. Check me out. You can't see me. The issue here is men or women, we're different. We're very different. That's the first thing that everyone needs to start acknowledging. We're different. We're not the same. We're not the same. We can have equal rights at a society level. When we enter the zone of romance, we're different. Not only are we different, both sides expect the other side to move differently, right? The ladies want to be treated like a lady. She wants to be treated like a lover. The man wants to be respected as a man. Yes, just because he has a dick. Yes, exactly. Get used to it. Okay, he wants to be. We're talking about romantically involved now. Okay, he wants to be acknowledged. He wants to be respected. He wants to be admired. He wants to feel a sense of loyalty, right? Even if he pretends he wants to feel it, it's just what it is. Yes, feelings, men do feel. Okay, he wants to feel that. So oftentimes when we're having this conversation, people are just looking at things from their own perspective. But the reality is that there's the woman's perspective, there's the man's perspective, there's the society perspective, right? And there's this perspective that actually matters if you want to thrive, if you want to win at this game called long-term romantic relationships and marriage. If you want to win, you have to look at it from all those angles. Okay, so we're going to be tackling these stories from a lot of the standpoints that I usually pull up here today. The 6 basic human needs. We're going to pull it from that standpoint. We're going to pull it from the points of the 4 points focus that I've been highlighting for 3 years here. We're going to talk about the 7 purposes of marriage if it's related, but more importantly, we're going to talk about the poisons that most people they're not aware of, but they, in a small way, they start to poison their relationship. Before they know it, they're at the divorce court and they're like, what happened?
I never expected it.
Yeah, so we're going to be tackling from that standpoint. Of course, the anti-seducers. So we're going to be tackling those things from that standpoint. Most importantly, we're going to tackle this from the self-power, social, seduction, attraction, and emotional intelligence standpoint. Let's tackle it like most people will tackle it first. Okay, let's tackle it like most people will tackle it first, shall we? All right, so again, I'm going to read it all over again for those of you that just came in. Back in Lagos, Nigeria, I was a bright young woman with dreams of starting my own business. I married my husband, who promised to support my ambition. Okay? He promised to support the ambition. He was probably in love, probably wanted a fine young lady and just wanted to support the ambition. He was saying anything he can say just to get you, you know. Most people would say he was pretending. Okay. I guess you could say it like that. Lois was pretending. Okay. If that makes you feel good. But I think it's irrelevant if he was pretending or not. Okay. If you make it relevant, then you're talking about your enemy. There's only one thing you should do with your enemy. You should leave him as soon as possible. You should escape, run away as soon as possible. Okay. But if there's more to it, let's keep going. But as the years passed, I felt like I had become invisible in my own home. As the year passed, right? So some sort of evolution going on there. People are evolving, people are changing, life is moving, people are having children, right? See finish, they enter small. My husband barely acknowledged me, too absorbed in his work and social life. Okay. I felt like a ghost, my dreams forgotten and my voice unheard. The emotional neglect was suffocating. So what is it that you ladies mean by emotional neglect when you say that? Okay. Let's rewind back a little bit. Okay. Let's rewind back a little bit. She said, okay. Let me go back a little bit. I'm coming. My husband barely acknowledged me, too absorbed in work. Right? So work is necessary part of life. But, men, sometimes we don't know where to draw the curtain and say that's the end for today. We're going to call it a day. Sometimes we don't know how to do that, right? But she also said on social life, right? So a lot of African men, they also enjoy happy hour type of deal. Stop by, grab a drink or two before they come home. I think that's still a big thing in Nigeria. In the overseas, I don't think, not so much. Okay, I have a lot of friends, and I don't think many of them just like, they might step out in the weekend, but just at 5 p.m. like after work every day. That's not really a thing here in the Japa. But in Nigeria, it's a thing. People will stop over, have a drink before they go home, right? So social life. So maybe social life on the weekends too. Maybe that's what she's talking about. She said, I felt like a ghost. My dreams forgotten. And my voice unheard. He said another thing to note, right? Remember when she said, he promised to support my ambitions, right? Oftentimes, that conversation we were having when we were dating and we're about to marry or all that kind of stuff, a lot of stuff you have to remind us later on. We might even forget like pieces of it and stuff like that. I know what you're saying. Like, okay, but how could you forget something that's so important to me? I know. I feel your pain on that, but that's the reality. Oftentimes, if it's something we keep talking about on a regular, yes. If it's something that you start having children, and then 7-8 years down the line, you're not trying to revisit that, and then we have 3-4 children running around the house who have a lifestyle built around that. It's a very, very difficult thing to work through. It's not easy. Obviously, it probably wasn't easy for you to bring that up because you probably feel a sense of fear. Like, I don't want anybody to shut down my dream. The fear of somebody shutting down your dreams is one layer. The fear that it's probably impossible because you probably have the fear of like, where are you going to get started from? Because there's been years that you haven't been doing this, and then you're now talking about this new dream. Some ladies who say they want to become actress about 14 years into the marriage, but we'll get to that conversation later. You want to become what? An actress. Something that takes on a whole, that has its own lifestyle entirely. A lot of women do that too, But let's just say you always had a dream, you communicated this, you expressed it, right? The emotional neglect was suffocating, leaving me feeling worthless and lonely. Now, a person who has a dream inside of them that, it's like you're pregnant, right? And you can't express that, meaning you cannot give birth. Like, that's deadly. It's a deadly thing to happen to anybody. If you have a dream and you can't leave that dream, it's bad. But now when you have societal issues, societal forces and pressures, right, of the societal pressure of a woman is supposed to just be a homemaker. When you had those layers on top of it, it gets to become a very complicated thing, right? So imagine also a woman who's walking around the house disgruntled, what's the word, cranky from time to time, and stuff like that. And the husband also, he kind of knows something is off, but is also busy with work, right? So maybe not just busy with work, maybe broke. Maybe he's trying to build a certain level of, maybe he's trying to build a certain level of financial competence, right? And then in the same breath, you're like, okay, you're gonna need me to work. Like you're saying in the back of your mind as a woman, like maybe I should go back to work. And his coconut head said, no, just stay home and take care of the babies. You can see all forms of these different type of stories. Remember, we're talking about a person, which I have a ton of them. My husband doesn't see me. That's what we're talking about. So now, leaving me feeling worthless. So imagine your husband is struggling financially and you can't work, and he's telling you can't go back to work, and you have a dream too, and you can't. That dream is also dead, right? It's a very, very complicated thing. It's a very, very complicated thing. So let's keep going. Let's see here. Hit the like button. Hit the like button. Thank you. Hit the like button. So feeling worthless and lonely. Worthless and lonely. That's a crazy ass combination. Anyway, so I spent hours cooking for my husband's favorite meal, hoping for a romantic dinner. Okay, so in the midst of all of this, she's still trying to, okay, maybe I can do, be romantic a little bit. He barely looked up from his phone, muttering a quick thanks before diving back into work. I felt like my effort meant nothing. Again, additional levels of feeling worthless. Basil said emotional neglect, disregarded, ignored, invalidated, and unappreciated. Yeah. That's what it means to you. I think it's on point. I think that's what I've been getting. All right. So again, how do you know as a man, and men do feel the same feelings, right? But they don't put it into those same exact words. A man might feel like you don't see them or their efforts, but they might feel like unappreciated. Unappreciated is probably very close to not feeling seen, right? Invalidated, men can feel that from their wife. Unappreciated but a woman might say, you don't see me, right? But let me keep going here. All right, so he barely looked up from his phone. The phone thing is a big deal. You gotta have some self-awareness around your phone, ladies and gentlemen. All right, I'm guilty as charged. You gotta have some self-awareness around your phone when you have a romantic partner that you do life together. Okay, you have to have some awareness around that. Think about it like this, right? You're not supposed to feel how they feel. Naturally, you're not supposed to feel that. Because why? You're being entertained, you're enjoying it, you're getting education, whatever you're getting from your favorite YouTube channel, like maybe Man of Prestige, right? You're like, oh, all I did 8 hours live stream, and then you sat down on the 8-hour live stream trying to consume it all at the same time. And, your partner is looking at you like, are you kidding me right now? See, you're not feeling what they feel, obviously, because you're enjoying the conversation. You're feeling like you're getting educated. You're feeling entertained, right? So it requires self-awareness. This is not common sense. Stop telling yourself that all you need is common sense. Because that already in itself tells me that common sense is not working. Because I'm not going to argue with you that you have common sense or not. I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to tell you is that we all have common sense. We all have opinions, like assholes. Everyone got one. One thing that most people don't have is self-awareness. And again, when I say you don't have self-awareness, it's not an insult. It's like all of us, we're not born with self-awareness. It's a skill. It's part of the skill set you need. You need to just tell yourself like, hello, there's another human being involved. right? I don't want them to feel neglected. Okay, by the time they start tapping on your shoulder and saying I feel neglected, oftentimes it's too late. Because ideally, they will feel a lot better if they don't have to tell you. Sometimes they have to tell you. That's when you like to say, like, you two, you communicate. Yes, you two should communicate. Okay, sure. Everybody knows what communication is. Everybody talks about communication all the time. I bet you already knew that communication is key in marriage too. They all know that. We all know that. There's some additional layers of things here that you need to start paying attention to. And most of us are born blind to it. You know, your parents probably didn't teach you too, for the most part. So this phone thing is a big part of it, right? The phone. It could be, listen, I know you have a valid reason. It could be work. You don't have to convince me. I know that it could be work. It could be something serious, something that, you're right.
You're right.
Like I said, I'm guilty as well. Okay, it's an ongoing thing because the phone is just, your work is on there. You can imagine for me, right? We have people reaching out for help, right? And sometimes, there's people in UK people in UK trying to text me at 2 a.m. in the morning. I happen to be awake, so I turn on the phone. Everything is dark in my bedroom. I turn on the phone. The light lit up the room. She's trying to sleep, right? And she's like, the light, and I'm like, but it's work. See, like I said, valid reason too, right? I'm right.
You're right.
It's funny that some people are very quick to talk about boundaries, but they don't know how it actually applies in real life, right? You have to separate. You have to self-awareness. When it comes to the phone, self-awareness. Your favorite YouTube channel, your TikTok, your Facebook, right? The notifications for most of those apps should be off. You should have a separate time when you go there where you say, okay, let me go check my messages. I promise you. Listen, when I first started my career back in 2004-5, right? I was like, that could be money. I pick up every phone call, right? That could be money. I was obsessed, right? I picked up every phone call. So now I find out, like, okay, when it's like Friday by 12 noon, right? And like, okay, this deal gotta close. I have this deal that might close, or so I'll be calling people. I'll be calling these different companies, different professionals, people that can get a deal closed and stuff like that. All of them dead. They're probably in Miami somewhere on the beach somewhere. I learned very quickly that it's not that deep. Okay, they've turned off their phone. They have a separate phone. But for me, I was just very passionate about what I was doing. Of course, I wanted to close a deal, but by Sunday noon, everybody they shut down. Nobody's answering nobody. Nobody is talking to nobody. I don't care what industry you're talking about. Now, it's not every industry, obviously, but my point is that you should separate some time, especially when it's involving your partner. You have to have some self-awareness around the phone. The phone is a very dangerous tool. If you have some long stream or something, like for example, for me, whenever I do long stream or something, it's something that my wife is in on, right? But there's only so much they can take. So again, she said he barely looked up from his phone, muttering a quick thanks before diving back into work. I felt like my effort meant nothing. Now, in reality, he's not sitting there as I'm gonna say, hey, she's useless, but the feelings are just as valid. When the person is caught up in that feeling, right, they're not gonna sit down there and be helping you process like, oh, he probably didn't mean it that bad like that. Oh, you probably they're not gonna do that. I can do that because I'm not sleeping with you. Your partner might not be able to do that. They get caught up in their emotions. They start looking at you as the enemy, yet they can't leave you. So it's easier said than done when I say just leave, right? They can't leave you because you are married to them. They start to feel like, Abi, how can you claim that you love me? And then feelings. That's why you need self-awareness. That thing where that person should just be an adult. That thing, that person should just be an adult. Like, just be an adult. It's work that I'm doing. That's not gonna fly, okay? When they dump your ass, you will start remembering that it's not just a matter of adult. Both of you are children, and the fact that you think that way tells me that you are a child too. She's operating like a child. You are just as much operating like a child. She's caught up in her emotions. She's not capable of thinking for you. That is work. She feels how she feels. You too, instead of you to say, okay, you know, maybe I could pay a little more attention. Let me make sure I take care of my duty. Give some quality time, right? You too, you're not capable. You get caught up in your mind. You take it as like, you two now, help me now, help me. You know, I'm just trying to make some more money. You shall know that I'm struggling a little bit here. Like, okay, so now both of you are children. Okay, so congratulations. She said, I tried to talk to my husband about my loneliness and desire to start my business. Now, I find that I tried to interesting. I tried to talk. To my... Did you talk to your husband or you tried to talk? Oftentimes, a woman might be afraid of telling you how they feel. Maybe they've tried before in the past and they say, oh, you overreacted. So they don't want to feel that sense of that. They don't want to hear your mouth, right? So every now and then they are like looking for the right timing to see if they can tell you. That all in itself is consuming lots of energy. The energy that person could be using to serve you and be loving you, they're using it to watch to see when's the right time they can talk to you. So that's how I'm reading that. I tried to talk to my husband about my loneliness and desire to start my business. He shrugged and told me I was overreacting. So now, if she gets that kind of reaction a few more times, right? Naturally, we all hate rejection. I don't like rejection. I don't know about you. I don't like rejection either. Okay? I do understand that rejection is part of life. As a man, as a salesman, as a person who has a business, who run business for so long, it's just part of life, right? But when it comes to my relationship, I don't want rejection too. You notice Dr. Shala the other day was saying, like, I will try one or second or two times. After 2 times, I'm just going to ignore you, right? And then we turn around and say there's silent treatment, right? Why? Because you were disconnected from the time when there was a rejection, and nobody likes rejection. See, this is it's a vicious cycle, right? The only thing that's going to stop it is self-awareness. All right? That's not the only thing you need, but that's the thing that can stop that terrible vicious cycle. All right? So he shrugged and told me I was overreacting, making me feel like, okay, it didn't matter. Making me feel like my feelings didn't matter. So if they get that kind of feelings from interacting with you, naturally, they will probably avoid such pain as we move into the future. All right, let's go. Yeah, hit the like button, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications so that you're notified when we go live. All right, so she said on our anniversary, I planned a special evening where my husband stayed late at the office. When he finally came home, he went straight to bed, leaving me heartbroken and alone. Again, there's a repetitive theme of loneliness in what the story that's being told here, right? The loneliness. What happens when people are lonely? What do you think they're going to do? What do you think is going to happen when people are lonely? What is going to happen eventually, right? This person could be a Jesus baby. They're trying to do all the right things, but loneliness is whipping their butt, right? They're trying to do the right thing. They're trying. They have their morals, their standards, all of that, right? They're trying to do the right thing. They're trying to do the right thing, but it's not working, right? It's not working because this is a human being. Okay? It's a human being. It's a human being. Eventually, something has to give. What's gonna give? Right? Either people completely fall out of love, they become empty nesters with a bunch of grown teenage kids. They're looking at each other in the face. And you're like, wait, whatever happened? Like, I don't think you ever loved me. That's an extreme, I guess, right? Or some people like, well, I don't feel nothing for you anymore. What do you mean anymore? Since when? I don't know how long. I just haven't felt anything in so long. Right? So this woman now is going to be expected to be a strong woman. She should just be strong and stop being a baby. Stop being a cry baby. Stop being so needy, right? And just deal with it. Your husband has to work. Stop crying. Like, you're lucky. You might hear things like, you're lucky that you have a husband that goes to work. And here you are crying. Crying about the husband that's working. Hit the like button, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications so you're notified when we go live. So this is a very this sounds like something that's very, very painful. Again, as a man, you might not be able to connect all the way with this story, but maybe you can connect with it. Just think about the outcome of a woman. Eventually something has to give. What could give? She could end up with a love interest somewhere, somebody that's giving her the kind of attention that, you know. But how could she? Like, she should have some morals. I know, I'm with you on that too. I'm just telling you how it plays out sometimes, you know. So what is that, a threat, some ultimatum? I should straighten myself? No, you don't have to do anything. You just have to be aware of the consequences of some of this type of things when it plays out in a lot of the marriages today. He brushed off the idea saying it was too busy. Okay, so I suggested we go out for a weekend getaway to reconnect. He brushed off the idea saying he was too busy, making me feel like I wasn't worth. Again, rejection. On our anniversary, remember, I planned an evening, but rejection. When he finally got home, he went straight to bed, leaving me heartbroken and alone. I tried to engage my husband in the conversation about my day. Okay, try to engage in the conversation. He nodded absent-mindedly, meaning she could tell he wasn't paying attention. Not really listening, which made me feel unimportant and taken for granted. I tried to rekindle the spark by planning romantic dinners and dressing up. Okay, so you know how you jump on internet street and they're like, dress up, you too, you do this, you do that. You know, she's probably trying all of these different things, but my husband remained indifferent. Right? So she's actually still giving some level of grace. Indifferent meaning she's not saying he hates me. She's not like, listen, like, he's just like numb. Just life. Like, just life is lifing. A lot of people are like that for years, especially during the growing up years of the kids. I used to believe that if I just tried harder, right? She used to believe that if she just tried harder, he would notice me. I felt like I was running from the painful realization that maybe, just maybe, he never truly saw me. Maybe he was never really interested. Maybe he settled. Maybe he never really wanted her. These are the kind of things that will be playing out. And 200 plus movies will be playing out in her head. Nollywood movies. What could it be? What could it be? Because the only thing she's getting is indifferent. Right? So as you can see there, if you can connect what I'm saying, because this could be a man too. Just a man might not say things like I don't feel seen. Men might not say that. They might feel unappreciated. So think, as a man, just think about when you don't feel appreciated by your woman. Just think about that. And you keep trying, it just seems like nothing ever makes her happy. It's the same feelings. The feelings, the way a man might describe it might be different from how a woman might describe it. Either way, it's a very common situation and it's heartbreaking. All right. So how do we go about fixing this kind of issues, right? I'm with you, but we'll talk about that. There's another story here. Hold on 1 second. All right. Why don't I do this? Before we go into the other stories, do me a favor. If you're watching this later on, I want to know what your thoughts are. Share your opinions. What can she do? Right? What can she do? What are your thoughts and what can she do? What are your thoughts and what can she do? I'll be right back for the next story. We offer evidence-based relationship and marriage resources and coaching to help you navigate the difficult times.
Don't just wing it. Learn the principles that work.
Download our 2 free books and book your complimentary coaching session now at manofprestige.com. All right. So in Accra, Ghana, I was a dedicated mother and wife. I had given up my career to raise our children, believing that my sacrifice would be appreciated. However, I soon felt the crushing weight of being unappreciated and overlooked. Okay, so that's that word again, unappreciated, overlooked, coming up again. Overlooked sounds like not seen, right? All right, good. Let's keep going here. My husband took me for granted. All right, that's the conclusion. Only seeing me as the mother of his children, not as an individual with my own needs and desires. I felt like I was drowning in a sea of domestic responsibilities, my own identity fading away. I left my promising job to stay home and care for our children. My husband never acknowledged my sacrifice, acting like it was expected, making me feel my career dreams didn't matter. I expressed my loneliness, and desire to go back to work. My husband brushed it off, telling me to focus on the kids, making me feel like my feelings were unimportant. I spent hours making the house clean and welcoming. My husband came home and barely noticed, treating the clean house as normal, leaving me feeling unappreciated. I asked for a break, suggesting a night out together. My husband laughed and said he was too tired, making me feel like my needs for adult interaction and a break were ignored. I managed all the household chores and childcare alone. My husband never offered to help, acting as if it was solely my responsibility, making me feel overwhelmed and taken for granted. I tried to communicate my feelings to my husband, but he dismissed my concerns, making me feel even more isolated. I used to think that I could just keep everything perfect at home, he would value me more. I used to think if I could just keep everything perfect at home, he would value me more. I was running from the harsh truth that my worth was not measured by my sacrifice. That's another one. All right, so what do you guys think about that? Let me know your opinions about that one right there. In this case, she seems like she's a mother, right? And it's a situation where she's feeling unappreciated again, overlooked, ignored, right? You know, I know women might say, hey, that's not a lot to ask for. Like, why can't he just, let's just get it through it, all right? But this is what it means when some people say they've lost themselves too. This is what it looks like. So oftentimes, if this is your wife you're talking about, you probably feel like you're sacrificing a lot already too. So it makes it unnatural. Listen to what I just said. It makes it unnatural for you to listen to her, because that's not fair, right? As far as you feel like that's not fair. Yeah. Again, can she just stop crying? Stop trying to be a crybaby. I get it, okay. But again, when a person says "I feel," you don't have to make it about yourself, okay. Just understand it's a feeling, okay. Sometimes they don't. Okay, not sometimes. When people say "I feel," they don't need you to become a god. What we often do as men is we try to fix it. Like, we try to put some things together and fix it. Maybe a quick dinner date or something like that, you know. And unfortunately, you don't even have to do all that, honestly. You just have to acknowledge that feeling, first of all. That's really the first step. Acknowledge the feeling, and then listen. Listen and listen out for more. And then ask her to tell you more, you know. Sometimes just hearing her out will create a big relief already. A lot of times, sadly, a lot of people's wives, we have to go to the outsiders to feel relieved, to get somebody that will actually listen to them for the first time. Sadly, sometimes another man is going to make your wife feel better by listening to her. Pay attention. Okay, well, she could do whatever she wants, then problem solved. You just have to wait until the wheels fall off, right? But if you don't like that, then obviously you can start paying attention again. Self-awareness. Okay. All right. So dedicated mother, wife, she gave up her career. That is a big deal. This is something that a lot of women resent years later. When I say years later, I'm talking about potentially 2 decades, 3 decades later. That's why some people literally file for divorce 35 years into a marriage. Happens all the time. The way we do it in Nigeria, they said they will go and do omogo, right? They want to escape from the house. All right. So now she's concluded that her husband took her for granted. Okay. That is a conclusion. I understand where the conclusion is coming from, but if it's truly a conclusion, she should just leave. But it's probably not that simple, right? She probably has children, a whole life, financial world all together. Everything is entangled up. Like, oftentimes people might get into like, where do I start from, right? Where do I start from? I was talking to one of my clients, and he was talking about how he would cry, literally cry like a bitch, right? But where's the crying coming? Why can't he just leave up and leave, right? Well, it's not that easy. You have a whole life with this other person, right? So it makes it super difficult because, again, the idea was to do a lifetime with this person. But you find yourself in a place where you have to unentangle everything, disentangle everything all the way back. You have to face family. You have to tell family. Now, the funny thing is that family will now carry stories and start telling around town. Every time somebody take your story and they're sharing it with the next extended family, for every time they share a new version of that. Now, you have 2 options. You can say, I don't care, right? If it's that easy, shout out to you. Congratulations, right? But for most people, it's not. It's embarrassing. They feel a sense of embarrassment. The last thing anybody wants is for the whole family, the 3rd and 4th cousins, sharing different versions of a messed up story all around different continents. It's embarrassing, right? So sometimes people will stay. They will just stay, right? Just to fulfill whatever they've always, their perfect picture of what it's supposed to be. People will just stay and just continue to live in the funk, hoping that something will change someday. Sometimes they stay in there blaming the other person, right? Remember what she said here? She said, my husband took me for granted, only seeing me as the mother of his children, not as an individual with my own needs and desires. You see, that conclusion right there, that's only an enemy will do that to you. An enemy who have camouflaged as being a friend. They came into your life, shut the clubs up, gave you 3 babies that you have to carry around town for the next couple of decades. Now you felt left alone. You don't have your own career that you gave up, right? She said, I felt like I was drowning in a sea of domestic responsibilities, right? So on one end, these are her kids she's taking care of. On the other hand, she's like, I can't stand his guts, right? She said, my own identity fading away. When people say I've lost myself, think about identity, right? Men can feel it, women can feel it. But today we're talking about my husband doesn't see me. That's the focus today, okay? I left my promising job to stay home and care for our children, right? You get pregnant, you happen to be in the country or somewhere, maybe in a don japa situation, imported. You were supposed to be a lawyer, but you're no longer a lawyer right now. You tried school a little bit, it got too expensive, so you kind of gave in. 15 years later, you're like, where did he go? Some days you're like, okay, gratitude. I'm seeing my children are growing up, they're doing their thing. Some days you feel resentment, a deep sense of resentment, right? Because it's still you, regardless of children, you still have a sense of purpose that you would like to feel fulfilled, right? My husband never acknowledged my sacrifice, so even worse, right? So never. What does she mean by my husband never acknowledged my sacrifice? Acting like it was expected. That's what she meant. You know how you say, well, it's family's duty, responsibility. Or ladies, you might say, hey, it's bare minimum. What, you bought a shoe for your child and you're now asking for candy? You want some candy? Yeah, that's what it means when somebody says acting like it was expected. Making me feel my career dreams didn't matter. I expressed my loneliness and desire to go back to work. My husband brushed it off, telling me to focus on the kids. Focus on your kids, right? She says, making me feel like my feelings were not important. I spent hours making the house clean and welcoming. So a lot of time as men, we're not exactly like on a mental level. We have to be self-aware to say, let me do the math. This woman is spending hours trying to keep the home front together. If this was a job that I was going to on a regular basis, I know how much I'll be getting paid, even if it's just ordinary $15 an hour, right? You need self-awareness to connect to that. As a normal man, as per normal day, that's not something that's naturally coming to you. If it's coming to you naturally, congratulations, it's a gift. That's the point. For most men, this is something that you need to be self-aware about. This is something you have to really think and then do the math. Like, you know what? I could be a little bit nicer. I could be kinder to that woman, right? Self-awareness is key. Self-awareness means, eventually becomes second nature to you. But in the beginning, when you start to be aware about this kind of stuff, you have to practice over and over again. Sometimes we have to tap you on your shoulder and say, hey, Baba, pay attention, okay? Pay attention. Because if you had to worry about the home front and you had kids, let's say you're a single father, that's usually not the case, but let's say you are. You know how many hours will be going into that, right? But you might even say, like, it's not a big deal, I can handle that. But here's the thing, everybody's threshold is different. When it comes to our partners, romantic partners, this requires self-awareness. It requires being intentional. The idea of appreciating your partner, you have to be intentional about it. If you're an average human being, you have to be intentional about it. I'm talking about just ordinary thank you that you're saying while you're actually paying attention. You're looking at that person in the eyes, you say thank you. You hold their hands, you say thank you. I'm not talking about the thank you that you randomly do, the one that, you're just passing by. Say thank you, Eshi. I'm not talking about that. Because Bele Olako Olabo, right? I'm talking about the one that the person that's receiving it knows that it's coming from a place, a very thoughtful place. Now, I was watching another live stream earlier on. Somebody said, well, you're describing thoughtfulness, not emotional intelligence. Well, here's the thing. If it's going to make somebody's emotion ginger up, make them feel appreciated, right? And you're coming from a place of intelligence, understanding it does that to somebody's emotions. That is emotional intelligence. That's you gingering somebody's emotions. Very, very important to think about. Babes Wins, shout out to you, Babes Wins, for being here. I think counseling and therapy can help emotional neglect. You think? Maybe. Right? Welcome, Gracious Greatness. Good to see you, man. Hit the like button as you're coming in. Thank you. Hit the like button. Okay. All right. So, I guess this is a masterclass. I didn't realize it was a masterclass, but I'm here for it. All right. So she said, I left my promise. Okay, I came home, barely noticed. Okay, I asked for a break, suggesting a night out together. So a woman who is still asking you for night out. Baba, once that woman, see, the thing is that she finish enter these issues sometimes, right? I mean, obviously, she said, being taken for granted, right? taking each other for granted is inevitable. It will happen. Okay. Again, like I said, self-awareness, you push back at it, right? Complacency will happen. It's just what it is, right? So, but when you are self-aware, you become top 5% of couples out there, and then you beat that on his head. Most people will say, "What is all that? You should just take care of his responsibility." Good luck to those people too. If it works, keep doing it, But I'm telling you that you're here right now, because I know you're here because you can relate somehow, some way. You know that this has been a thing. It's either you've been on the receiving end of it, or you're like, I haven't paid attention to my partner. She said, I asked for a break, suggesting a night out together. That's a person that's still romantically involved. By the way, they are also attracted to you, but that can only go for so long, right? But that's attraction, right? They're still attracted to you. And because see finish don't enter, you're taking them for granted, right? My husband laughed and said he was too tired. Okay, now, the laugh is a little extra, right? Why would he laugh? He's probably thinking like, you own too much, Jare, I beg. He's too tired. He's probably tired for real, right? But I'll tell you what's going to be more tiring later. I'm going back and forth from divorce court. Yeah. That's going to be tiring. It's not a threat. These are the consequences of not putting things in perspective, right? Making me feel like my needs for adult interaction and a break were ignored. That's a woman that will eventually cheat. Okay? She said, my need for adult interaction. She's saying that's a need. A need. Shout out to Gracious Greatness. I appreciate you, bro. I should take a break. Let me take a breather, sip of water or something like that. I appreciate you. It says, masterclass for waiting. How I miss Sam. Your spelling of waiting is wrong. It does not have AI. It should have a E. But I thought you'd appreciate me correcting that. Thank you, bro. All right, thank you, Tonya. I see you. Welcome, Tonya. Good to see you. She said, hit the like button. Thank you, I appreciate you. All right, let's keep going. She has a need for adult interaction. Right now, her morals might be very, very strong. Right? She wants to do the right thing. Obviously, she wants to. She's asking for a night out together. Right? Eventually, something is going to break. All right. She said a need for adult interaction and a break were ignored. All right. This is a person that can potentially fall on the wrong bola at some point. Yes, sorry, it's the real word. People have needs. Sorry. She said, I managed all the household chores and childcare alone. My husband never offered to help, acting as if it's solely my responsibility. So as you can see, there's multiple issues here. Okay. Making me feel overwhelmed and taken for granted. There's multiple issues here. We're talking about he ignored her sacrifices. This is her feelings. It might not even be the reality, but this is how she feels, right? And it's valid. If you ask him, he might say, ignore your sacrifices. Me, I don't do waiting. This is how it works. She's having a different experience. You're having a different experience. Okay. As far as she feels right now, and then if you start looking at it, did she quit her job to take care of the kids? You have to look at this in squarely. You have to listen actively. You have to also tuck in your own feelings just temporarily. As a man, you tuck in your own feelings temporarily. I promise you it's temporarily, because you're a human being too, and I understand that you need to feel seen and heard too. I get that. Okay, but in this equation, sounds like you are the leader, right? Talking your own feelings temporarily. Why? So you can actually hear where she's coming from. She feels her sacrifices have been ignored. She feels like her feelings are dismissed, right? When you're brushing things off, right? She feels like our efforts are not valued. Double, triple whammy, right? She feels her needs are neglected. Okay? And she feels like she's being taken for granted. She said, I tried to communicate my feelings to my husband, but he dismissed my concerns, making me feel even more isolated. These are big English. This big English will end you up in the poto. Okay? I used to think that if I could just keep everything perfect at home, he would value me more. She's saying she's given up on the idea, on the hope, that if you could just keep the hope front, that one day, everything is going to be fine, right? She's at least given up on that idea. I was running from the harsh truth. She was running from the harsh truth. She said that my worth was not measured by my sacrifices. That's another heartbreaking story, if you ask me. Okay? That's another heartbreaking story. So let me know what your thoughts are. What do you think she should do? Let me know what your thoughts are. What do you think she should do? What can she do? What can she do in your opinion? And what are your thoughts? Share them with them. No judgment zone. I will judge you if you judge me though. But no judgment zone. All right. Yeah, let's see. Shout out to Uncle Patrick. Uncle Patrick says, Hola, Portable Pata 14. That thank you soundbite get ACB. Agree to all. Welcome, sir. Good to see you, sir. Hit the like button. But let me know what your thoughts are about this story of a mother. She's quit her career, and obviously she doesn't feel seen by her man. Okay, let me know what your thoughts are. In the meanwhile, I want to move on to the next story. I'll be right back. We offer evidence-based relationship and marriage resources and coaching to help you navigate the difficult times.
Don't just wing it. Learn the principles that work.
Download our 2 free books and book your complimentary coaching session now at manofprestige.com. All right, welcome back. We're talking about my husband doesn't see me. So I have another story here. Okay, let's get into it, shall we? Let me see what do we got here. Where is my? Okay, there you go. All right, so this person says, back in Enugu, I was known for my beauty and grace. I married my husband, believing our love would conquer all. I married my husband, believing our love would conquer all. All right. Uncle Patrick says, all men need class on understanding women's emotional needs. That's a fact, sir. That is a fact. I've been saying that for 3 years. Okay. Bola Palmer, welcome, says she's slowly checking out emotionally. Yep. Slowly but surely, right? All right, so back to the story. In Enugu, back in Enugu, I was known for my beauty and grace. I married my husband, believing our love would conquer all. But my world turned gray as my husband's attention shifted elsewhere. He became increasingly distant, engrossed in his work and social obligations. Shomo, that's our club. My guy from my club the other night, every weekend, every party, you're going to party every Friday night, every evening, all summer long, Now, I think it would be cute if you can take your wife, but I don't know if that's the story here. But anyway, he was engrossed in his work and social obligation. These are very common issues, heartbreaking but common issues. I felt like a shadow, Jesus. My emotional needs unmet and my presence unacknowledged. The loneliness gnawed at me, making me feel abandoned and unloved. All right, I would dress up and wait for my husband to come home, hoping for a compliment. He would walk in, barely noticing me, head straight to his work, leaving me feeling invisible and unappreciated. I initiated sex a few times, but then it seems like it's just sure for him. I don't feel wanted. I plan a family gathering to bring us closer. My husband spent the entire time on his phone. Jesus. Again, the phone. The phone is making a cameo appearance again. Majority of you are watching me on your phone right now, okay? I do want you to watch, okay? But listen, I'm not a YouTuber, okay? I just advertise here on YouTube, okay? All right, so we do these shows. I am a marriage coach. I'm a relationship coach. You need real help, you come behind the scenes, you hit me up, right? But I also try my best because I want to practice what I'm preaching. I want to help you practice what I'm preaching, right? These long streams, if you have a partner, you want to be careful. Me, I'll be fine. You can always watch, we repost them as videos, standalone videos. You can always watch those things. If you see your partner coming inside, put the damn phone down, okay? Use your workplace to watch the shows. Times that you're actually in the downtime, your own me time, okay? Excuse me, hold on one second. Use your own me time. Listen, I understand the live shows are interacting now. You want to engage and want to be. I'm letting you know if it's becoming a point of contention with you and your partner, do something about that. Use your self-awareness to gain another extra point. I'm letting you know, I'm warning you. This show is not exonerated from that. It's the same thing. Okay? That's why you have watch later. You can take some of those videos, you save them into watch later. You talk that you can save a playlist that you can come back to from time to time. You will have days that you have 3-4 hours just laying around for no reason. You go into some binge watching. That's how you do this thing. You have to be intentional. Anyway, I just noticed that the phone thing is coming up again. I thought I should spend some time on that, right? Anyway, my husband spent the entire time on his phone and talking to others, ignoring my efforts, making me feel like my attempts didn't matter. Remember, this is after she planned a family gathering, right? So she planned a family gathering so she can I'm the wife, we did that. And then he's not paying attention. He's not noticing her. She feels, let me correct that. She feels like he's not noticing her. Because a man might say, no, I noticed my wife. I don't know why she's saying that. Well, good. Right? I'm glad that you're paying attention. But she feels she's having a different experience. And you have to pay attention to that. My husband often left for social events without inviting me. There you go. Remember I said it's a social guy, club guy, do this, do that. But you're the one attending all the social events by yourself, and your wife is not able to come with you. I'm not saying your wife must go everywhere with you, because somebody's going to come and ask me, is he everywhere that the wife must go? No, that's not what I'm saying. That's not what I am saying. All right, but this is a situation where your wife is feeling always. We know always is exaggeration. It is what it is. It's the feelings. Feelings exaggerate everything, but it is real. It will exaggerate your consequences too. You will end up in divorce courts. Very slowly, but surely. How do I know? Because the numbers are out there. Okay. I sat alone at home, feeling abandoned and hurt, realizing he preferred the company of others over spending time with me. You ever heard a woman say, I feel like you always pick other people's side. I never feel like you spend enough time with me. Well, sometimes they just straight up, a minority will straight up tell you, I need some more quality time. That's a minority. If somebody is telling you straight up like that, you're lucky. Hopefully you feel that way, right? You're lucky. Because oftentimes they'll be using discombobulated languages that you might not, you're like, that's a lie. What do you mean abandoned and hurt? That's a lie. I'm always here. You're thinking I'm always here, you know? She goes, I tried to talk to my husband about my feelings of loneliness. He dismissed me, saying I was being too sensitive and needy, making me feel like my emotions are invalid. Okay? You got it. Told you. This is how these things work. All right. Again, she's having a different experience. The husband is probably a good guy. I'm a good guy. I'm a good guy. I try to take care of my family. All right. Listen, all those weirdo cheaters, Yoruba demons, I'm not talking about those guys here. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm not talking about, if you get stuck with those kind of guys, the answer remains the same. Seek help. Because I'm probably not going to scold your guy that I don't know personally enough for you. I'm sorry. Okay? But maybe these are the simple issues that has become so complex, because these issues will become complex for a fact. Right? So she said it dismissed me, saying I was being too sensitive and needy, making me feel like my emotions were invalid. I constantly showed love and care, hoping my husband would reciprocate. You know how people say, if you are the only one that's always doing, the other person is not doing back. This is where they're coming from. You know me, I push back against them like you should seek help. But this is where they come from. This is what they're feeling. They feel like they are the only one giving, right? So there is a type of conclusion that will come out of this, as always. Those conclusions are coming from a real place of pain. My husband took my love for granted, really showing affection. Again, that's a person that's probably complaining about sex starvation. Because sometimes when they sugarcoat it, no affection, that's what it becomes. At least it's not where it's supposed to be, right? Making me feel unloved and unimportant. It's a matter of time. This is how they fall mistakenly on bolas. I tried to bring back the closeness we once shared by organizing family gatherings and participating in community events, hoping to catch my husband's eye. Right? Sometimes men just can't see it. Somebody said engrossed. I don't know if it's this story or the other one. Engrossed in work. Right? He can't see it. We're like, hey, you know I married you. You know I love you. What else do you need? You know you are beautiful. You know, no. She wants to hear you say that sometimes. Why? Because it's gingers certain types of feelings. When you ginger such type of feelings, oh yeah, Baba, you go benefit from it. But I'm seeing that a lot of men, they don't have the foresight. They can't see that far. They just see, hey, duty, responsibility. What is all this feeling, emotional nonsense that's making America sell us all this stuff? This is how women get us in debt. It's all about their feelings. And America capitalize on it. And then sell you more stuff. And then we're inside debt. Now we're riding a Range Rover that we don't really need. It's all the fault of women. You see, this conversation goes far. All right. I used to believe that if I could just be the perfect wife, he would see me again. What is the perfect wife? What is that? Does anybody know what that is? I was trying to escape the painful reality that I was slowly becoming invisible in my marriage. All right. What is that? What is this perfect wife of a thing? Okay. Because he didn't say that now, but the woman was saying I was trying to escape. No, she said I used to believe that if I could just be the perfect wife, right? Where did this idea come from? If I could just be the perfect wife. Me, I can tell you that most men are not expecting a perfect wife. I can tell you that for a fact, for free. Okay, I can tell you that for free right now. Bezwin said, after going for counseling and therapy to boost their communication skills and still not working, both should go their separate ways instead of cheating on each other. Depression is real. Self-love. Yeah. Let's keep going. So what are your thoughts about this story, this Enugu story? She believed love would conquer all. A lot of people believe love will conquer all, and then they get to a part, to a phase in their marriage, they feel like love has failed them. So what do people do? They run around the internet saying love is not enough. Can you blame them? I can't blame them. All right. They are talking about their own idea of love, of course. They're talking about the idea of a perfect wife, right? So there's probably a lot of unrealistic expectation on herself, on her own part in that regard. But the main topic today is that the husband can't even see that. She doesn't feel like the husband can see all of the effort, right? So She feels like her presence is neglected. She feels like her attempts to reconnect is also ignored. She feels like his social life is prioritized over herself, right? Prioritized social life over me. She feels like her feelings are dismissed, and she feels like she's been taken for granted. Are we seeing like a consistent theme here? There's a consistent theme here. I'm seeing it, okay? But maybe I've experienced something similar to that before. Some people that have never experienced this before, they probably cannot connect with it. They're like, I beg, all these people should just stop crying. If you can't do marriage, don't do marriage. Is it by force? Somebody will say, hey, why don't you talk about all these things at the beginning of the marriage? I'm like, oh, okay, all right. Anyway, either way, whatever your thoughts are or your opinions are about this, do share. I would like to get them in the comment in the chat area. I'll be right back. We offer evidence-based relationship and marriage resources and coaching to help you navigate the difficult times.
Don't just wing it. Learn the principles that work.
Download our 2 free books and book your complimentary coaching session now at manofprestige.com. All right, welcome back. Let's talk about this other story. Let's go to Nairobi, Kenya. Hit the like button, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications so you're notified when we go live. Let's go to Nairobi, Kenya. I was an ambitious woman with a promising career. I married my husband, hoping we would build a life of mutual respect and support. What does that mean? What does that mean? Sometimes when people use big English, I want them to break it down. Okay, I get accused of using big English sometimes. Sometimes me too, I'm tired of it. Like, okay, can you break that down? What do you mean? I want to know exactly what you are feeling. So if you're talking to me, I will make you do the work. Like that work. Like tell me what you're feeling. I want you to be fully honest with me. Promise you, I'm not gonna say you're a liar because they're feelings. These are your experience, right? Experiences. I want you to tell me how you feel. Tell me what you saw and what it made you feel, right? So she was hoping she would live a life of mutual respect and support. I would want her to paint a picture. Like, tell me what did that look like, right? Is it you're traveling the world, you have 4 children, you have 3 children, you have 2 children, or you have two sets of twins, right? And we live happily ever after in Atlanta, Georgia, What does that look like? Paint that picture. Well, anyway, that's what she thought. But usually when people say, did you have this conversation at the beginning? They're usually using big English that really never breaks it down to what the events would be and what the feelings that will follow, the subsequent feelings that will follow. Why? How come they can't talk about that? Because they don't have the experience, right? They don't have anything, the memory to pull out, right? So this is why it's almost inevitable that everybody that goes into marriage, every single one of them, everybody that say I do, they don't know what they're doing. Every single one of them go collect. Okay, that's not to say you shouldn't do premarital counseling. I'm just saying don't have unrealistic expectations of yourself. Okay, how do you do that? Be open to constant learning. You're entering new phases every year, every 2-3 years. You need to be open. Some of those changes will shake you up, will shake things up, right? And then it will feel like it's the end of the world. But if you just remember what I just told you right now, just in case you've never been married before, then you remember that, okay, this is just a new phase. I'm entering a new phase. There's pressure. Tiwa. I get it, right? I completely get it. And again, some of those phases, some people say it's the 3 years, it's the 5 years, it's the 7 years, it's the 10 years mark. Something is going to have, there's a massive crisis. It will feel massive to at least one of the partners, right? So usually the other partner will catch it late and then they will feel like this person just changed on me. They pretended all along.
Everything I do, I will.
They pretended all along. That's what's wrong with these people. They all marry for the wrong reasons. Some people marry for money. How did you know? How did you know they marry for the wrong reason? Why, you just feel like telling that story? No, everybody go collect. Bah, mo sọ fún ẹ.
Sorry, yo.
He shock you.
Everybody might collect. It's just the way it is. Okay. Now, obviously, the sooner you start learning, the easier it will be. Okay. The easier, the less difficult it will be as you travel through this journey called marriage. But guess what? I know it's easy for us to blame it on marriage. Welcome, Natu. It's very easy for us to blame it on marriage. Yeah, right. This is just life. All right. Even if you try to do life alone, you go still collect.
Sorry, yo.
So these are just skill sets. Like, these are life skills, okay? These are life skills essentially, okay? Obviously, there's a little extra accent to it when you're dealing with marriage, because romantic / duty, responsibility / romance is supposed to be a lover, homie, lovers and friend. Yeah, I know it's confusing. Yeah, I know. But trust me, you just have to be a student. Just be a student and then you'll be fine. So anyway, let's get back to Nairobi, Kenya. She said, I married my husband hoping he would build a life of mutual respect and support. Instead, I found myself constantly overshadowed by my husband's accomplishments. Oh yeah, those type. You know how you have a very accomplished husband. He's doing well. He's an executive. Like, you have everything you need. Birkin's bag, all of the above, right? I don't know why I said Birkin's bag, but you know, there are days that I will try to remember the Birkin's bag name here that I'll forget. I won't remember. But anyway, life is good. There's money, all of that, and it's an accomplished guy, right? But she's feeling overshadowed. And then when she starts to talk about this stuff, she's asking for quality time, or she's like, it's like, okay, you always speak all your friends over me. I feel unseen. And then as a man, you start to feel like, is this woman jealous of my success? I'll be waiting to happen for here. Yeah, you know that feeling, gentlemen? Yeah, I know, it's confusing because now you're caught up in your own feelings. So you start to look at your wife as, is she the enemy or something? Is she enemy of progress? I mean, enemy of progress, what they call it. Anyway, these are some of the issues, okay? This is what she might mean if she says my husband doesn't see me. He rarely acknowledged my successes, treating me as an accessory to his life rather than an equal partner. Equal partner. So she doesn't feel like an equal partner, okay? And then the man will say, equal partner? What is this, some kind of feminism stuff? We don't do that in my household. You better do what you... Stoic. They're using their voice to say stoic. Stoic. Right? Will it work? It's not working. Right? This is the beginning of the fear of the pool boy. You know what the pool boy is? Okay. Let me stop with that. The emotional neglect left me feeling insignificant. My self-esteem eroding day by day. Baba, if your wife is starting to use all of these big psychological words and she's not doing it as a profession, and she starts to use, Baba, you know, the collect, your marriage is disappearing in front of your face. If she's using all these big psychological words, there's a chance that she's reading some books, she's paying attention to some rhetoric, and she's probably leaving your ass. Anyway, let's keep going. I didn't say that's your fault. It's not a matter of fault. It's not a matter of fault. It's just something to pay attention to. We don't deal in faults here. We don't deal in blame, judgment, any of that kind of stuff. We don't do that. All right. We focus on empowering you that you're listening to me. Okay, whoever you are. That's what I want to focus on. That's what I've chosen to focus on with my work. Okay. So she said, so she felt like an accessory to his life rather than an equal partner. The emotional neglect left me feeling insignificant. My self-esteem eroding day by day. I received the promotion at work and excitedly shared the news with my husband. He barely reacted, quickly changed the subject to his own work. Oh, that type. Oh, yeah. tons and tons of stories like this, making me feel my success didn't matter. I suggested ideas for a joint project we could work on together. But my husband waved off my ideas, saying that they wouldn't work, leaving me feeling belittled and unheard. I juggled my demanding job and household responsibilities, ensuring everything was in order. My husband took my efforts for granted, never thanking me or offering help, making me feel like my hard work was invisible. I talked about my aspirations to start a new venture. Okay. All right. So she seems like she has a lot, right? She got a promotion from work, right? She's with a husband who is well accomplished. So these people, money is probably not their problem, right? Money will eventually become their problem, I promise you, and then they will record it as finances at the court. But at this point, that's not the root cause, right? I talked about my aspirations to a new venture. My husband dismissed it as impractical, crushing my enthusiasm and making me feel unsupported and alone in my dreams. In social settings, my husband often introduced me merely as his wife. Wait, what? This is what it becomes. My husband merely introduces me merely as his wife without mentioning my accomplishments. You know what that means? It's just that bad. I don't think most women are just looking for you every time they introduce you. But you never accomplish any, like you never acknowledge that she's also somebody doing something, or every time she actually gets a promotion, she doesn't even get like some kind of excitement. It's usually dismissed so quickly and you move on, because yes, she will multiply it. She will stretch it out for you. So now she's saying even when she's been introduced, it's just like, my wife. Listen, it's 2024. A lot of people don't appreciate that. They don't want to just be the wife. All right. Now, some men might overreact to that and say, what's wrong? What's wrong with being a wife? A wife is just a wife. What's the big deal in that? Well, this is where active listening comes in. Like, if you really think that's weird, why don't you ask for that? Why is that a thing? Why don't you listen a little bit closer and say, why is that a big deal for you, babe? Why don't you share with me? Tell me why that's a big deal for you. She'll probably dig in a little deeper and tell you more what's going on behind the scenes in terms of her emotions, and then you can use that in your favor. But if you lose patience before you get to that, you collect, and it's not just you collecting. She don't collect already. That's why she's sharing it, okay? So she said, I felt like I was just an accessory to my husband's life, not recognized for my own achievements and identity. I tried to gain my husband's recognition. All right, now that's a very exhausting feat, to always be trying to see if you can just see that I'm doing well too. Some people have this problem with their parents. Their parents never see. When we grew up, some people, this trauma started for them long before they were married. When they were growing up, if they get 96, the parents will say, hey, where's the rest of the 4 points? Right? Nigerians, we understand that, right? They got 98, like, what happened to the 2 points? So, the 2 points, the people that had the 2 points, do they have two heads? So imagine that person gets married to you. They run away from home at the age of, 28, and they're like, you know what? I'm tired. And they come to you and they have to experience the same thing all over again. And then you're wondering, like, where is this coming from? Can you listen long enough to her for her to break down and say, you know what, I just feel like all my life nobody appreciates everything I do. You see, this theme of feeling unappreciated is coming up over and over again. Gentlemen, I'm saying this is not necessarily a matter of it's your fault. It's just something you need to pay attention to, because you don't have to end up in divorce just because it's your fault. But you will feel that pain that you lost your family. It will be painful. Anyway. But what about me? Absolutely. Let's talk about you. We can talk about you too, bro. Like, you're not firewood now. We can talk about you too, but let's address this one first today. I was running from the painful awareness that my husband might never truly value my contribution. Okay. She's saying she's now aware that it will. You know how people will just conclude that there's no solution to this. Listen, a lot of people are seeking help, but a whole lot more people, I gotta be honest with you, a whole lot more people are just living in the misery because they've concluded that nothing good is gonna come out of this. Otidi Baraku is over. It's a wrap. But anyway, for this lady, what are your thoughts? What can she do? I know Babe Boozins have been saying counseling and therapy. What can she do? What are your thoughts? Share your thoughts with me in the chat, in the comments later on. I'm listening, okay? If you're going through this kind of stuff, you know where to find me. There are absolutely things you can do. But I want to hear the audience. What are your thoughts? What can she do? All right? And let me know. You know, I'm looking for my buttons here. There you go. Yeah. Hit the like button, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications so you're notified when we go live. Check out this next segment. We offer evidence-based relationship and marriage resources and coaching to help you navigate the difficult times.
Don't just wing it. Learn the principles that work.
Download our 2 free books and book your complimentary coaching session now at manofprestige.com. Welcome back. Let's continue. So I have another story here. Let's get through the story, and I want you guys to make sure you have a fantastic weekend, because I will. I promise. I started already. I plan to continue. So I hope you guys have a good weekend. Let's go to Senegal. Senegal. I was a woman of many talents and dreams. Okay, these are people. See, one thing that men tend to forget when they get married to some of these women is they forget a very, very simple, basic idea. This is another human being. Right? It's another human being entirely. Like, I know that you guys married, you're one. The scripture says you live to cleave, you have become one. And it's just beautiful, happily ever after. She should just be happy that she's happy that she's now a wife, right? After all, in Africa, if you become a wife, that you should feel accomplished and fulfilled. How? Because there's a ton of people that are not yet wives, they don't feel fulfilled, right? Or they will come and try to help us, tell us that it shouldn't be a fulfillment. Well, here's the reality, right? Fulfillment is something that's very personal. It's purpose driven, right? And you have to remember, gentlemen, that you're married to a human being. And if you want the best of them, you increase the chances that you'll get the best of that woman when you remember that she's a human being. What it does, that it helps you with being considerate. It helps you with there's some subtle, small behavior that you exude when subconsciously you're like, she's just my wife. Not just. Okay, let's remove the just word. She's my wife, right? No more, no less. She's my beautiful wife. You might even use all the my queen. You might even use all that. But remember, feelings, right? Feelings. Now remember, it's unique to that particular woman. What makes her feel fulfilled? What is her sense of purpose in life? If she's disengaged from herself or purpose in life, especially in 2024, I promise you, oh my God, it's only a matter of time. You go collect. Now, it is not as simple as I said it. You will actually be dealing with a person that has resentment. They would also tend to struggle with how to communicate it with you. But you know that something is off, right? As a matter of fact, you too, you might have your own resentments against her. So it's just a very rough place to be, right? So it's very, very important. Very, very important that you pay attention to this one simple fact. She's another human being. And what else could that mean? Let's get back into the story. So she said, I was a woman of many talents and dreams. I married my husband, believing we would support each other's aspiration. But as time went on, I felt the sting of being ignored. My husband became preoccupied with his own career, leaving my dreams unacknowledged and not supported. I felt like my passions were dying a slow death, my heart aching from the constant emotional neglect. Emotional neglect featuring again. I shared my plans to start a small business. My husband nodded absent-mindedly, quickly shifting the conversation to his own work, leaving me feeling dismissed and not important. Sound like the same story, right? This is how I feel when I'm dealing with this stuff. This is how I feel, okay? I spent hours creating beautiful heart pieces, hoping for my husband's praise. That's not a good place. You know when you're just with somebody to just appreciate. Yeah, you do a small thing, you just want them to appreciate you. You're obsessed with, you just want them to just one day. And it will feel a lot better if you don't have to remind them to just appreciate, right? Because then it will feel like it's coming from a place of free will, which that's the goal. You want them to be coming from a place of free will. He barely glanced at them, offering a quick nice. You know how he said nice, but hey, but I acknowledged it. Like, just nice? Like, yeah, nice means good, right? And then you're not arguing with your destiny right there. And then he offered a quick nice before returning to his task, making me feel like my talents were unappreciated. I started a community project and invited my husband to see my work. He declined, saying he was too busy. Hey, gentlemen, you gotta be careful with that. You might actually be busy, okay? You might actually be stressed out at work. Yeah. And it might be a situation like you feel like, you know, sometimes all it takes is just an extra effort and just say, hey, talk to your colleague and say, can you cover for me on this day? I want to support my wife. She's doing something. I feel like that's all it takes sometimes. Just a little extra effort is all it takes sometimes. You know, sometimes I tell you that you too, you deserve soft life. But when you don't do these small things, it becomes extra painful resentments that will be eating up your mind from underneath. And you're feeling the pain. You know it. But your coconut head, no. It's the principle. Nobody can change anything for me. But you too, you deserve soft life. You're not listening to me. I'm telling you, leaving me feeling unsupported and alone in my efforts. I talked about my passion for music and wanting to join a local group. Akọrin, Ofemagbeni, Alagbeleyini. like when did that start? You're freaking 36 years old. I know you played music, but you never told me you wanted to be a Beyonce. Like now you want to be a Beyonce. This was wrong with y'all ladies, okay? You want to be Megan Thee Stallion now? Oh, but if this is how you move, she will eventually she can never be Megan Thee Stallion. That's number one. She will actually attempt it, right? But by the time you realize it, your household will be broken apart. And then she will justify and just say, you know what? I've never been this happy before, Baba. We will never know if it's true or not. Though. Bottom line is that you lost your family. I talked about my passion for music and wanting. Hold on 1 second. And wanting. Let me see. Just in case, I have to be on time today. So I'm not playing around. I don't have a choice. Just FYI. Okay. So drop the link if you have something else to say about this. It's welcome. But I have to finish right on time. I talked about my passion for music and wanting to join a local group. He laughed it off, calling it a waste of time, which crushed my enthusiasm and made me feel my passions were irrelevant. My husband constantly worked late and attended events without me. That's another case, right? So the other person says social. I was left at home feeling neglected and heartbroken that my needs and dreams were always second to his career. I tried to revive my dreams by pursuing hobbies and starting small projects, hoping my husband would notice and encourage me. So clearly she craves for the encouragement from him so badly, right? I used to believe that if I just proved my worth, he would support me. Okay, so now you know how you need somebody's support and you're like, okay, maybe if you can see a little bit of results, he will jump on board. But that kind of spirit will kill you inside over and over and over again. And before you know it, life is actually passing by you just like that. Exhausted. And now the man is busy with his work and stuff like that, but actually he probably just doesn't realize that his quality of life could be better. Only if his partner could be happier, right? No, it's not about happiness. It's duty and responsibility. Okay. If you're happy, I'm happy. Okay. I was trying to escape the harsh truth that I was being emotionally neglected by the one person I thought would always be there for me. See, that's the issue. When you say, how could you say you love me? I keep repeating it. And then I have to struggle and struggle and struggle to get a simple thank you, a simple acknowledgement from you. Okay? So, that goes to tell you, my husband doesn't see me. Okay, I just shared 5 stories with you. It's a very common theme. Okay, it's a very common theme. Oftentimes, the damages are great. We're talking about potentially more than a decade, 2 decades, 3 decades, and it feels like nothing can be done about it, right? Because they've come to a conclusion that, you know what, nothing is going to change anything. Nothing is going to happen. It is what it is. This person has shown me their true colors. Oftentimes, they will roam around the internet and they will find similar stories that will basically confirm everybody is misery loves company. They wallow with each other in the same feelings, but deep inside, people want better, right? People want better. A lot of people still believe in love. A lot of people consider themselves hopeless romantic, and they will never give up on love. But you know what's happening? They're roaming around collecting different breakfasts all over the place, and then they take that hurt, they take it to the next one, hurt another person. You know, hurt people, right? It's just sad. It's just sad what truly happens with some of this type of stories. But again, I wanted to highlight this because obviously it's a consistent theme with some of our clients. This is how they started, and I understand if it feels impossible. You know, I understand if it feels like just in my culture, you have no idea. You're like, oh, listen to me. They've all been there. But sometimes when you give people a little bit of hope, sometimes when they see one small little story, and then they are able to say, you know what, maybe I can change things around. When people are feeling like my husband doesn't see me, I think that's a person that still cares. I think you still care. And I think also that you have a husband that you still value. You just want things to be better. Sometimes you just like, I have coconut head. I'm not just gonna accept nonsense. Other days you're like, I wish things could be better. Right? So it's a lot of back and forth. And before you know it, you do enough of that, you lose yourself, right? And for every cycle of that you go through, you question yourself. You question if you're good enough, right? You question if you're good enough, not just with your husband now. It tampers with your self-esteem. It tampers with your self-confidence. And if we shoot self-confidence on the legs, what is left? There's nothing left, right? Nothing left. So a lot of the work you're going to do will require rediscovering your self-identity. It's a big part of the work that we do here. It's big. It's part of the foundation. Nothing else can happen until you gain your self-worth back. Okay? You need a support system. If this is you need a support system. If it is not you, please go ahead on and have all kind of opinions. I want to know all your opinions, okay? If it's you need support systems. Public opinions are not going to help you, all right? Because there are parts of your story that's very peculiar to you and is a big part of the solution that you will require, okay? So you need a support system. I would definitely make sure Babe Wins have been saying that. Seek wise counsel. Seek wise counsel. All right. Separation and divorce. I wish. Obviously, like I said earlier on, you have entangled life together, and sadly, sometimes people will settle for infidelity. Right? They will take care of the need because it's feelings. It's all temporary, right? Sometimes they are caught off guard. Sometimes you might say, "Oh, it's never caught off guard." They are all premeditated. Listen, 2 things can be right at the same time. When we're talking about emotions, more than 2 things, more than 20,000 things can be right at the same time. You're right, it's premeditated, but it's not that simple. So what I always tell people is like, listen, I can prescribe separation for you. If I have to prescribe separation or divorce for you, you're probably not ready anyway. So since you're still here inside of the marriage, why don't you do something about it? Right? But he should straighten himself out. Like I said, I agree with you. How's that gonna happen? The how is what we're talking about. That's what we're saying. You should seek help. Okay? That's what we're saying. You should seek help. Okay? If you don't seek help, if you're gonna probably sit in that situation, a lot of people just sit in this situation. Something's gonna break. I told you already, something's gonna break. Somebody might just pull the rug from under you. Maybe they were disconnected. Maybe, how are you gonna find out if you don't seek help? So it's the same first step. It's the same first step. But like I said, from the very, very beginning, I see, not to say Team Hopeless Romantic with a reset brain. Right? I feel you on that, Natu. Like I always said from the beginning, let me just go ahead and do some rounds on some of these principles that we cover here. Okay? Rediscovering your self-identity is key. Self first. No matter what we do, you cannot pour from an empty cup. Okay? You can try. It can only go so far. Self. Power. Well, that's so unfair. Welcome to the real world. In love and war, all is fair. I didn't create that. Okay? It's like a proverb. There's a reason why it became a proverb. Okay? In love and war, all is fair. That's not your angle. The angle you need to focus on is empowering yourself. Empowering yourself, subsequently empowering your relationship. So self-power. When I say power, disengage from that unfair stuff. Okay? Are you an activist? Stop. Okay? Let's focus on helping you build a romantic relationship that's lasting, that can actually withstand the test of time, that does not tamper with your ability to feel fulfilled as a human being, as a bona fide human being with her own right, since we're talking about the ladies today, right? To live life to its fullest today. Okay? Stop trying to be an activist with romantic relationship. It's not your mate. It is what it is. You will feel like things are unfair. The other person probably feel like you're not being fair too. So that's the wrong angle entirely. Social. Okay? Society said you're right. Okay? But all we need is some self-awareness around that, and there are ways to navigate that. Don't get stuck there and say there's no solutions. Well, if you say there's no solutions, I have no other choice. Personally, I have no other choice than to agree with you.
Oh, you're right.
But if you have a little bit something left in there, and you feel like you can definitely have a different experience, if you have that a little bit of hope left, I think you're going to be fine. Okay? Then just what you need is support. That's all you need. Just support. Okay? Mary, thank you so much for the 10 pounds. That's another 10 pounds today. Thank you so much. You and Gracious Greatness for sponsoring the show. That goes a long way. Thank you. I'm going to take a deep breath. Catch my breath. I'll be right back. All right, thank you. Welcome back. All right. So as I was saying, we're talking about the standpoints that we attack this talking point from, right? So power. So social. There is society, and that's the reality. There's society. Tomorrow, shout out to Mary Parker. Tomorrow, I have somebody who is an intercultural marriage. So we're going to be talking about that a little bit tomorrow as well. Special, it's very, very special guest. When I tell you it's a very, very special guest, don't miss tomorrow. Okay, I can actually go ahead and change the thumbnail on the screen to that. So I covered his face because I want it to be truly a surprise. So, all right. So again, social, right? There are social constructs, there are social things, social realities going on around us. Majority of them naturally, depending on what kind of experience you've had, depending on how deeply rooted your bad experiences might have been, you might have concluded there's no way around it. The reality is that wherever you've been through, somebody else have been through it before. Okay, and for someone that do what we do here with me and my wife, after a while, as you can imagine, there's patterns. Okay, I can see the same story, which is why I'm able to provide support that works, right? So social, all those kind of things, all right. After we acknowledge those reality, then obviously seduction. Okay, seduction. When I say seduction, I'm talking about influence. If you're still in that marriage and you're going through all of that, you feel like your husband can't see you, but that person keeps coming back home. I think you have more power. I don't feel, okay? I know that you have more power than you realize. But when you're caught up in your emotions, obviously your reality, your emotions are real. They will tell you there's no other way out. They will tell you it's just before you know, you start calculating it with numbers, and the numbers you're looking for will align. It's confirmation bias. They will agree with you because those are the numbers you're looking for. Especially if you dig yourself through the YouTube algorithms, you keep seeing the same thing over again, and they're like, I knew it. And the reality is just that's just your reality. That's just your experience, So again, I know you have more power than you realize. We call it power of influence, okay? Sometimes I use that interchangeably with seduction, right? But there's something the difference between influence or seduction and control is that you are actually leading with value. And that can be very difficult if you already feel like you're doing everything that is not appreciated. That's a very difficult thing to get through, right? But again, with the proper support and a renewal of your mind, things get a lot more easier. Not just that, you actually get what you want. All right. Then right now you're attracted. If you feel like you're not being seen by your husband, you're more attracted to your husband than he is attracted to you. Okay. And it's not your fault. That's just how life plays out sometimes. And it's true, as men, sometimes we get so busy and complacency is real. It's real. So how you approach that requires a certain level of grace. Now I'm asking you to give grace, and you feel like you're not getting enough grace. So I understand if it feels complicated. I get it. I completely get it. But this is where you need to understand the concepts. When you have understanding, see education. When you have understanding, right, that also affects your level of confidence. Confidence is sexy. When confidence is sexy, that turns out to become attraction. So you don't have to pull this weight of this big weight you're trying to pull. You probably can't pull it anyway, right? You just have to understand where your leverage points are, and then you pull those levers at those leverage points, right? And then it becomes super easier. It feels like it becomes easy, but because you did the work. You did the work. Most people are too lazy to do the work. They would rather just run around the internet and blame everything else but self. Self-accountability is very, very difficult for obvious reasons, because the devil doesn't want you to achieve what you need to achieve. That's why. Okay? So, and overall, of course, we have to do all of this with respect to emotional intelligence. So, all of this, everything I just said, is easier said than done. Okay, let me just let you know. I'm going to round it up right there. Hit the like button, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications so you're notified whenever we go live. Hopefully you've been enlightened and educated. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.
Hi, I'm Lola.
And this is Ola from... We offer evidence-based relationship and marriage resources and coaching to help you navigate the difficult times.
Don't just wing it. Learn the principles that work.
Download our 2 free books and book your complimentary coaching session now at manofprestige.com.